Let's cross over to Addis Ababa, where our correspondent Becca Toma is standing by. Becca, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us here on Africa Live. Becca, how would you describe the situation on the ground right now? What do we know?
The situation on the ground appears to be very tense, and there are lots of uncertainties as we're hearing a renewed clash in Western Tigray at a place called Salamti starting yesterday. And we're also hearing some kind of military movement in southern part of Tigray. These areas have been occupied by the Amhara regional forces since 2022, when the two-year conflict was ended by cessation of hostilities agreement, which was brokered by the African Union, and now we're also hearing people are evacuating these areas, fearing of escalated hostilities. Of course, there is no official communication, both from the Tigray region and the federal government. We haven't heard anything as of yet, but political parties in the Tigray region are expressing concern that this escalation of hostilities must be contained, and then both parties come to dialogue. This call is also echoed by the African Union, who African Union called for restraint and return to the dialogue. So the situation on the ground appears to be very tense and uncertain.
All right, Becca, picking up on the tense situation, the clashes prompted a suspension of flights. We reported that earlier. Has there been any change to that?
There has been no change to the flight. The flights between Addis Ababa and various cities across the Tigray region remain suspended. The Ethiopian Airlines communicated passengers yesterday saying that the flights were suspended due to unplanned circumstances. We actually don't understand what that means, but we understand that it's related with the renewed conflicts in the region. And we're also hearing not only flights, but also road transports are somehow, disrupted. People are expressing their concerns on social media, saying that many are stranded in the Tigray region, and there's also no official communication from the Ethiopian Airlines whether there is a plan to lift suspension, or whether the suspension will be there for for the unseen future. So it's still there, no change in terms of flight suspension region.
All right, Becca, on the subject of renewed conflict, the region is still recovering from a conflict 3 years ago. How are people responding to these renewed tensions, and what are you hearing, most importantly, from the residents on the ground?
Yes, the region has not recovered from the conflict. According to local officials, there are some, nearly 1 million people displaced during that conflict, are still in makeshift camps across different parts in Tigray region. So the wounds are still fresh. People are we're hearing people are very concerned. In fact, not only concerned, but also they are started evacuating areas where conflicts are reported and where there is a military movement. Particularly, we're hearing people are evacuating southern Tigray, fleeing to nearby towns. Particularly, the youth from the Tigray part are, evacuating that area, fearing forced conscription into the military. And elsewhere in Ethiopia, people are expressing concerns because that war, which lasted between 2020 and 2022, impacted not only Tigray region, but also the impacts were felt across the country, and elsewhere in the country. People are expressing concern, and they are calling for restraints and for calm, and somehow for the leaders to return to dialogue and not to go into full-blown war.
All right, let's leave it there for now. Becca, Toma, and Addis Ababa, thanks for that.